What's up, working class? So one of the things that I hear a lot from people, they say that um, basically we elect these people to these offices because they're smart, they're intelligent, blah blah blah. What makes them so smart and intelligent? Because they went to Ivy League schools and they can produce a piece of paper that says that they're smart and intelligent. When you look at 90% of our Congress, what have they actually done in life? Nothing. Most of them went to school, got a degree, then started going around saying, as community organizers and such, saying, hey, look at me, I'm smart. As long as you people believe I'm smart, I can help you. I can do things for you. I can give you this. I can give you that. I can do this. That's how they run their campaigns, and they get in office and they live off us the rest of their life. They never actually do anything. They never actually produce anything. They never actually have to go get a job and prove through action how smart they are. It's all about this right here, running them mouths. So to me, when I look at them, I don't see smart. I see con artists, liars, and hypocrites. I just don't see smart. And some people are too smart for their own good. Some people, all they have that they feel like sets them apart from everyone else is that little degree saying how smart they are. And they build so much of who they are around that. That's their identity. That is their entire identity. And these are the people that we have chosen to go not lead us. God, I should delete this video. Not lead us, represent us. We're not looking for their leadership. We are looking for them to represent what we would want to happen. That's the reason we're supposed to hold them accountable. That's the reason we're supposed to vote accordingly to what they are actually doing and not what they're telling us they're doing. It's been a little more difficult lately because, fake news lies to us constantly. If anyone has progressive values, or if anyone has a D beside their name, the fake media will lie and lie and lie and cover up every single crime that they have committed, cover up everything. Versus if you have, a conservative or a Republican, they will actually lie. The media will lie to try to make up crimes and try to make up falsehoods against these people. And if they do, by some chance, have a slip in their life, whether it be 40 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever, they bring it up over and over and over and over again for the rest of their careers. Look at Brett Kavanaugh. It was just 2 years ago that they were telling us that Brett Kavanaugh was this terrible person, and we needed to believe her. Had to believe her, even though there was no evidence. She couldn't tell you where she was, what day it was, who was there, nothing. No evidence. Here we are, 20-something, 30 years later. I can't even remember the exact amount of time, but and she wants to come out and make this big deal because he's going into the Supreme Court. Now, Biden had similar allegations with twice as much evidence, but you never heard about it. Similar allegations, twice as much evidence, never heard about it. The reason is because our overlords throughout the tech industry and our overlords, the ones in Congress, big fake media, all these social elites, the liberal progressives out on the West Coast. The reason is they get to feed the American people the narrative that they want. So even though Joe Biden's presidency came with stuff they had already tried to impeach Trump for, and the evidence is there, if they use the same standards for everyone, and this is where things get so blurred, because someone like myself, I use the same standards of judgment for everyone. It's not based on who they are. You know, if I called Trump out the other night for being a coward, tucking tail and running, because that's what he is. He's a coward. He's going to sit there and for 4 years now have a strong damn jaw and take it on the chin. But the second a little bit of friction breaks out, he tucks his tail. So I call him out for it, because that's what happened. It's the same standard I would use on anyone else. These people don't have that. They don't have that standard. What they have is selective outrage. They have selective outrage. They're outraged when it's a certain group of people. When it's another group of people, they're not outraged. When a select group of people has, a skeleton in their closet, they're going to plaster it wall to wall as much as they can for everybody to see. When the group that they're in favor of has the same exact skeleton in the closet, they hide it. They bury it. They don't want nobody to see. So it's hypocrisy at its best. At its best. And at this point, it is damaging our country. It is damaging our country to the point where it's like for the last 4 years, all we've heard is that Trump was an illegitimate president. That's the last thing we've heard for 4 years now. That's what we've heard every day. Not my president. All this, BS. But then the second that they find a way to install Biden, it goes to, let's have peace. Let's have peace. I don't know what rock y'all been living under, but that ain't happening. That is not happening. The half of America that is fed up with this bullshit of you thinking that you're gonna install socialism on us, this half of America that is fed up with the hypocrisy, the lies, the deceit that comes from our government, we're not going nowhere. We are not going nowhere. You can do all the little BS you want to do, but we are here. And we're going to be a hell of a force. You think that little flex in Washington was something? That was nothing. That was nothing. We can be a hell of a force in the blink of an eye if lines get crossed and we move into tyrannical governments. For years and years and years, we've been called conspiracy theorists, and this couldn't happen. It's the United States. This couldn't happen. It's the United States. Bullshit. That's the same thing the people in Venezuela thought. That's the same thing the people in Russia at one time thought. China, you name the country, that's the same thing they thought. They never thought that they would live under oppressive regimes that basically did not care what the people of the country wanted. It would all be based on what was best for the government. Right now, in Washington State, they've already tried to enact some bills that will ban anything above a 10-round magazine. Across the country, we will start seeing things like this. And the fact of the matter is, our Supreme Court no longer follows the Constitution. If the Supreme Court doesn't follow the Constitution and we have a installed government who does not follow the people and their wishes, they can pass any unconstitutional law they want to, and they can pass it with ease. In other words, it does not matter if 98% of the population does not approve of it. They can pass it. They can pass it, and our Supreme Court will do nothing about it. So we're dancing on the precipice of tyranny right now, just dancing all over it. And like I said, I've been on this earth 41 years. Now, I'm not going to say I'm the wisest, the most knowledgeable, the most nothing. I'm not going to say that. What I'm going to say is in my 41 years, I have seen a lot of things. I have watched what's went down in other countries. I have seen and talked to a lot of people. I've been a lot of places all across this country. And one thing that I have found, no matter where I went across this country, is the majority of the people were still God-fearing people. The majority of the people still had a conscience and still understood right from wrong. The leaders that we have, there I go with that leader word again, the representatives that we have in Washington, they have lost this. They might, throw out some fake, and you know it's fake because you cannot sit there and say, oh, I'm a practicing Christian, I'm a practicing Catholic, but I believe in late-term abortion. I believe in abortion up until the very end when you are actually killing a child. You can't say that you believe in the same equal rights for everyone when you expect this group of people to get up, go bust their ass, and hold them to a standard of you have to work, you have to pay your taxes, you have to live your life a certain way. But the other group does not have to get up to work, go to work. They don't have to pay no taxes, and they're not held to a standard. This is every single time I look at, and this is in my professional career, you set a standard, an expectation, and you hold everyone accountable to that expectation. Not partially everyone. That's the reason a business can be successful, because you set a standard and everyone's held to that expectation. So why would we as a country set expectations and not hold everyone to that expectation? If you don't do it, if you're an able-bodied American, able-bodied, and you don't want to go with the game plan, you don't want to find some kind of lucrative, job that will pay your bills, you don't want to get up, you want to sit around, you want to get high, you want to live in your mama's basement, that's fine. Let your mama pay for you. I don't need to pay for you. I didn't have you. You're not my responsibility. You came into the country through whatever means, and you did not go to work. You didn't, have a game plan when you came in. You are not my responsibility. Hate it. I have a family. I have responsibilities. And I'm not going to take out of my responsibilities for my family to donate that to the rest of the people who didn't do according to what they should. And when I say this, I'm talking about anyone, okay? I see people all the time who have an opportunity to better themselves in their career. And the reason they don't better themselves is because it's inconvenient. I see these young kids that could actually jump a lick, jump a position or two by going to a shift they don't like, or by doing something they're not exactly, it doesn't exactly appeal to them. But what they don't realize is I could do that, advance my career, and then move. But because of the inconvenience of having to do that, they won't do it. They just won't. And then they sit around and whine and say, hey, I never get these promotions. I never get this. You're not willing to bend and do what's necessary to get you that. So if you're not willing to go out and put some inconvenience on yourself and do things like that to get to where you want to be in life, that is not my problem. I should not have to pay for that. If you decide you went to college and all that, that's not my problem. I shouldn't have to pay for that. You chose, you made decisions that you have to live with. Your decisions, your responsibility. But instead, we've got a split system where no one is held to the same standard. There's different standards for all Americans. There's different standards for all Americans who come here legally. There's different standards for people who came here illegally. All these different standards don't work. You cannot have different standards in this country for different groups of people and think it's ever going to work. Everyone has to be held to the same standard. Quit making up excuses for people who are not holding themselves to that standard, because that's a crock of shit. You make up excuses for these people because they don't hold themselves to that standard, and instead of figuring out how they can inconvenience themselves but advance their career, they sit back and whine about not being able to do it. Or they sit back and just don't do it at all and expect the people who have done that to help them out, to give a little handout from their check. We have a majority of people in this country that get up at whatever time they have to, bust their ass and go to work. A majority of people. When they get done, all they want to do, go home, relax a little bit, spend some time with their families, and enjoy what little bit of time they're not at work. If you start taking away from their ability to take care of their families and enjoy what little bit of time they're not at work, who the hell is going to work in this country? I'm not. If I'm going to work and I'm paying out 40, 50% of my labor into taxes, I'm done. I am not going to work and bust my ass for 40 to 50% of my money. Not going to happen. And I wouldn't expect anyone else to do it either. As a matter of fact, I would expect us to all stay at home all across the country and shut this bitch down before we allow that. But that's just my thoughts. Y'all have a good night.